So it looks like someone made quite the mess up. There was kind of a massive leak for Kodansha yesterday that I want to take a few moments to really talk about, because this is a topic that I have actually discussed in January of this year, where Kodansha went out of their way to basically cancel all their other services and stuff that basically had their manga on other platforms. They pulled it from other platforms, they canceled different services, so basically stuff like Eden Zero, you can no longer legally, read anymore online. And it obviously was something I discussed. I was like, this is why people pirate things, because if you don't allow them to have an option to legally read things, people are going to find alternative means, because, as I even said in that video, nobody's going to stop reading the series that they've been enjoying weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, or whatever. They will go out of their way to find other sources. And so, ever since that news, obviously, a lot of series that Kodansha publishes that, used to be, let's say, online for people to read legally, no longer was. And now we are in the middle of March, the month of March. It's been a few months since then, and obviously this news broke out yesterday about an apparent app that Kodansha is making. Now, overall, let's just be honest. The overall information that we get from this isn't necessarily surprising. It was very obvious that Kodansha in some way was probably going to form their own service because of what they did earlier, pulling things out of the market and all that, off these different platforms, that they probably wanted to create something very similar to Viz Media. So let's go over this, let's read this, and then I'll kind of break down everything that's going on. So, Screenrant confirmed Kodansha will be releasing a new digital app called Manga that will give US fans access to Kodansha manga. 400 titles available, including 70 titles of ongoing manga currently in serialization. Set to release May 2023, not that long from now, and here is the source. So if I click on this source, it actually is an error. The page has been removed by Screenrant, and now you're probably wondering why. Why was this page removed? Well, as I said, it was a leak. And so let's get a little bit deeper into this rabbit hole. So basically, within this article that obviously was removed by, Screenrant, there was a link to basically an official account on Twitter for the app that is being created by Kodansha. And this is the account right here, and I'll show the link in a second. But basically, it showed when it would be released. It would have a simultaneous release between US and Japan, etc. And if you actually look up this account, K-Manga Kodansha, you can actually find the account, which I have pulled up right here, the exact same information, and obviously all its tweets are set to private, so you're not actually able to see this account, what they're posting, etc. But it's very clear by just the way the information was done with the Screenrant article to now this account being kind of brand new a little bit, like recently kind of new, to the fact that, it's linked to the name. This is most likely legit. Now, once again, this is still leaks. There is no official confirmation, but everything does kind of point towards it because obviously, for, Kodansha to pull all these different manga off other services, they were going to do something like this eventually. But once again, let's dive a little bit deeper into the rabbit hole. So, as we go further, basically, we get a little bit of a picture of the article that, Screenrant posted. I'll read this in a second. But basically, they removed the article, and pretty much it was a leak. It's pretty much confirmed to be a leak because this was not supposed to be out yet. So let's read it. On March 21st, Kodansha announced its official serialization platform called K-Manga, which will allow fans in the US easy access to the publisher's series. K-Manga will release the latest chapters of Kodansha original serialized manga, including hits like Blue Lock, along with other publishers' weekly and monthly magazines containing a collection of different manga titles. The release will happen simultaneously in the US and Japan, making the latest stories available earlier than any other competing US service. Basically other select platforms, etc., even if you want to get a physical copy. At launch, K-Manga will have approximately 400 titles available, including 70 titles of ongoing manga currently in serialization, all localized in English by a team of professional translators. So, let's get a little bit into this. So, if you look at the wording of the article, on March 21st, Kodansha announced. The way that is worded basically seems like this article is supposed to be published on the 21st or maybe on the 22nd. It's clear that whoever clicked the publish button on this article probably did it way too soon. And there was probably an error or mess up, whatever, behind the scenes, and they leaked information that obviously should not be leaked. Stuff like this does happen in the industry for many different industries, not just, let's say, anime and manga, but this stuff kind of does happen. So, it's very clear by the way this wording is, it probably was not supposed to be published yesterday. It was way too soon for whatever reason. We don't know exactly what happened. Maybe someone actually lost their job because of this, but whatever the case may be, the point is that it seems like, by the wording, this was not supposed to be out yesterday. It was supposed to be out 21st. So, anyways, we go a little bit deeper, basically, and once again, the article is removed, so we can't really actually go deeper into what was said or not, if we want to. But, all of these signs do point to the fact that this is legit. Now, not official, but yeah. So, let's talk about this. What does this necessarily mean for us? People that want to read manga, etc. Because, let's be honest here. I'm not a sponsor, but Viz Media's platform is very good. And the whole point to make this Kodansha app, like this K-Manga app, is to compete with Viz Media. And FYI, if you don't know what Viz Media publishes, basically, they publish Chainsaw Man, One Piece, Black Clover, you know, they publish a bunch of different select shonen titles that everybody loved to read on a weekly to bi-weekly basis, and sometimes monthly. They even have One Punch Man on there. So the point is that it's very clear that, you know, Viz Media has quite the grip, so to speak, on manga online, because a lot of their stuff on their service, you know, you can read for free. Like, legit. Like, you don't even need to pay. But you can read it for free on their site legally, which is pretty impressive. And I'm not a sponsor, I want to make sure I clarify that again, but their service is really freaking good. Obviously, there will be people that don't want to use their service and go alternate means, and I'm not going to be that person to condemn anything or whatever. I'm not going to get into that. That is not my ball court to really dive into. All I'm talking about right now is basically Viz's service, and the reason why Kodansha is making their service. It's very clear that Viz Media's overall business model is a little bit lucrative. It's pretty good, and in its own way, it has combated some pirating for some manga. That is true. Now, Kodansha, with what they're doing, the information at least we have here is very early. We don't really know necessarily how, let's say, the subscription price is going to be, to maybe how they're going to be releasing manga necessarily, like if they are going to have some chapters free or not. We don't know, because once again, Viz has free chapters. Like, if you want to read, let's say, One Piece, you theoretically can read that free every week, just the new chapter. You don't even need an account, which, that's insane. That legit is insane. So if you're a reader that wants to read legally, you could do that. So will Kodansha follow suit and do something very similar? That is the question I have to ask. Now, obviously, with them kind of going into the ball court of what Viz has been doing, this is something that Viz definitely needs. Even though, right now, as I've already been saying, I've been kind of praising Viz, Viz does need to re-innovate, and they do definitely need to kind of constantly improve themselves. And having a competitor pushing them against the wall will help them improve their overall site and, you know, I guess the ability to give us better manga and better quality. So I do think that overall the news of Kodansha stepping into this is good. Once again, though, if Kodansha doesn't do something similar with its service, though, that Viz does, Kodansha is not going to do as well. I'm just going to be honest. Now, I do hope, if there is something that Kodansha could compete with Viz, is having a discussion forum. If there is one thing that lacks on Viz Media, is the ability to discuss the new chapters that come out on their app. You can't discuss it. You can't even write comments, etc., even rate chapters. I wish that they had that ability. And if Kodansha introduces that, that could be cool. And people would definitely want that on Viz Media if Kodansha does that. But once again, we don't really have much information on the app or what really is going to be on there exactly. But I do think that this is a good start to things, and that I think overall, great news. The only thing I want to take away from this, though, just saying that is kind of a little bit of a negative, is the fact that, you know, ever since January, with them pulling stuff off, you know, online, different services, etc., a lot of series, let's say like Blue Lock or, you know, Eden Zero, was up in the air and legal hell. Basically, there was no legal way to read those series. And look, I'm not going to pretend that people don't go out of their way to pirate things. I'm not going to pretend they don't. The point I'm trying to make is those people that do want to legally read things were not able to legally read. And that is a problem. If someone wants to do that and they can't, they're going to become a pirate. Because no one's going to stop reading the series that they've been enjoying. That's the truth. That is the exact truth of the matter. I'm just going to keep it 100% real. And so the fact that there's been multiple months of a gap right there, Kodansha and all these other companies that's associated lost a lot of money. And I feel like that's stupid. It's the same thing I argued with about Bleach, when Bleach was unwatchable for any newcomers that wanted to get into it before the Thousand Year Blood War anime came out. I thought it was wrong. It's like, why can't you even watch Bleach on select platforms after, all this time? It's just completely removed in like a brief span of just a void, so to speak, for a period of time where you couldn't actually legally watch it. But now that's obviously fixed. But still, the gap being there is definitely a problem, and I feel like, the damage has been done to some cases, because some people that probably went out of their way to probably, want to read their series continuously and go to a pirate alternative mean, might not go back to reading legally, just because of the sheer fact it's just annoying of what happened. So we'll see how much damage has been done. But yeah, I wanted to cover this. I felt this was very fascinating news, because obviously, Kodansha diving into the ring is something to be expected, but a welcome one, I guess. So, yeah, tell me your thoughts on how you felt about the video. If this was very informative and I brought you any form of new information or entertainment, then do leave me a like. It does help me out a lot. And may you all have a very blessed day. Chibi out.